Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, welcome back, everyone. You know, we have been following breaking news of the possibility of a child. Have been following breaking news of the possibility of a child being shot. Every time we hear of a report, whether they're confirmed or not, I mean, it does something to all of us here in the city of Chicago and nationwide. These are things that you never want to hear about. You hope that each and every time there is an instance, at the very least, that someone walks away, albeit maybe forever changed from an incident. But then there are so many families whose family dynamics have been changed for good for losing a loved one. And for sure, Trey, who is the brother of a young man who was killed outside of a church in 2006, was a church musician, has been changed for sure, and is now taking his story, taking his advocacy to Washington, D.C. to rally. Thank you so much for being here and for being vocal to share your story.
Definitely happy to be here.
Tell me about why you and your family are going to the March for Our Lives.
Yeah, so we are going to DC for the 30 Under 30 campaign. Campaign launched by March for Our Lives, Change the Rep, where it highlights the lives that were taken too soon. So Forbes usually has a 30 under 30 list of very prominent young people doing amazing things. And our story highlights those young lives that were taken too soon, that never got the chance to live up to the different expectations they may have had for themselves, such as my brother, who was a gospel musician here in Chicago, looking to play music for the world, and his life was tragically taken that turn.
Yeah, I mean, going to play gospel music at a church, and obviously we have seen, church shootings happen in
Mhm.
various parts of the country. It is one of those places, similar to school, but still, where you expect a level of safety. You expect that your life will be respected.
Mhm.
If you can, if you will, take me back to the day that you lost your brother.
Yeah. So it was April 4th, 2006. Crazy enough, that's about 20 years ago
Mm.
now. And were at home, me and my dad doing my homework. We received a phone call that Terrell had been shot. We knew that, he was at choir rehearsal getting ready and thought he was at a place that would be safe, church. And then we got that phone call, and then we went to the scene and learned about everything that happened, and later found out that he passed away. Um, and just, dealing with that, and following that, my family and myself, we all got involved in the violence prevention space, whether it's myself through the Brave Youth Leaders and March for Our Lives, and my mom with Purpose Over Pain, which is a parent group that helps survivors and supports other families and siblings get through the pain of losing a loved one.
Yeah. Transitioning pain into purpose is a hard but admirable, honorable thing that you all have done. He was just 18 years old, and you think at the age of 18, your whole life is in front of you. What were his plans? What were his goals and dreams?
Yeah, his goal was to play music for the world. He, just loved playing bass guitar, and he, planned on eventually being able to travel the world and do that. Actually, a couple months prior, he was on TV playing bass, so he had started getting closer to achieving that dream. But his life was still quite short.
When you speak of what took place, what took his life, when you are in the company of others who are in a club no one wants to be in, what is that like?
A lot of times survivors can feel alone, but being around other survivors, there are things that we understand that people might not get. Whether it's the way we talk about someone whose life has been taken, whether it's, how we react on random days when we think of those loved ones. Just being surrounded by other survivors provides another sense of support that you really can't even get from your own family unless they've been through the same experience.
People, will say, and I do believe this, that, grief is a journey. You will experience a
Mhm.
lot of different emotions along that journey, and there's no destination. You're just on a continuum of emotions,
Mhm.
dealing with grief. Did losing Terrell ever make you sour on the city of Chicago?
Oh yes, yeah. Through different ways. One just feeling that the city took my brother, and then also the response that we received, following his shooting. Although he was shot and killed in church, we were approached as if he was in a gang. He was vilified in some of the medias. They were saying it was a gang related shooting, while nothing was even reported or anything came back from the police, as well as his case still remaining unsolved. While other cases move pretty fast when it comes to high profile shootings or officer related shootings. So it was a lot of, for sure, sour feelings when it came to the city of Chicago. But through the years and the work that we've been able to do in the violence prevention space, that's turned around because I've worked with so many amazing people in the community doing this prevention work, and just the communities in general. It's been just an amazing experience in the work.
What are some of the things that you advocate for or against in the efforts to save more lives?
Yeah, so one of the things that we advocate for is increased CVI funding, or in the violence prevention field. So whether that's more resources for survivors, whether that's burial assistance, whether that is funding for street outreach or youth programs that teach young people how to be activists, we really fight for those things. And one of the biggest things we're fighting for right now is actually called the Rifle Act, which will hold gun manufacturers accountable for their firearms being recovered at crime scenes. So instead of the taxpayers paying the full brunt towards these, problems that gun violence cause, the gun manufacturers will have to pay their fair share as well.
And I believe that just passed at least one portion, one big hurdle in Springfield recently, right?
We're making some progress. We're making a lot of big progress, and we have our advocacy day coming up for it. So we're for sure making some huge strides with it.
And so when you go to Washington, D.C., it's not your first time going. What do you expect to see? What do you expect to come from it?
I really hope that the nation understands that the lives being taken are more than just numbers, more than just statistics, but these are future world leaders, future change makers. When you think of 30 under 30, those are young people who are bound to do amazing things in the nation and in the world. And we need to understand how many of those change makers we're losing to gun violence, while it's being the number one cause of death for children in America.
That statistic is always so shocking, so saddening. Um, but it is real. I mean, that is a fact. Um, how's your mother?
She's doing well. She's doing well. The work is what keeps her going, and keeps her, from being down. Her being able to help parents who have been in the same situation, or who are, entering into this unfortunate club. So she's maintaining just through being able to provide support for other families.
And do you ever feel like, I mean, the statistic we were just talking about, like, do you feel like you're moving the needle? Do you feel like, sometimes even for us in news, you feel like you want to see things change. It breaks my heart every time we report on a young person, especially lost in the city or beyond. Is it frustrating, or do you really feel like some movement is happening, some change is happening, even if we still see some of the same statistics that are troubling?
Yeah. Yeah, it just really depends on the day. So some days are still frustrating when we're still losing people. But I can say through, being in this work now, 20 years, we have seen movement. We've seen, decreases in numbers here in Chicago. We've seen decreases in cities across the nation like Baltimore, places like that have funded violence prevention measures. So we're seeing movement, but it can still be frustrating when we're losing people in our, communities, in our programs, and still, continuing the fight.
Yeah. Well, I am ever sorry for the loss in your life, but also appreciative of how you have used it to try to help save others. And I'm sure that you have saved others in 20 years of doing this work. Thank you so much for making the time for us before you head to Washington, D.C. And how long will you be there?
We'll be out there till Wednesday, so about 3 days or so.
Okay, 3 days. I'm sure a lot of conversations, and I hope that you'll continue to beat the drum, continue to speak up on your brother's behalf and on so many others who may not have a voice like yours.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. It is 1:43, everyone.